This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
I just changed last
Shoulder
minute.
bopping going on over here.
So cute. Oh, we're all in the we got the blue thing going
Looking
on.
fabulous, everyone.
Digging it.
Yeah.
Looking good. All right, it's a big day for Republicans, and we are just hours away from the first Republican primary debate. 8 candidates. I feel like the real world. 7 people picked to live in a house. 8 candidates will take the stage tonight in Milwaukee. The debate is airing in prime time on Fox News, but there will be one very notable absence. Frontrunner, former President Donald Trump. Instead, he's decided to do an interview with former Fox star Tucker Carlson that will likely be airing at the exact same time. So DBL Nation, we want to hear from you. I'm going to go to the panelists as well. Will anyone be able to steal the spotlight tonight and seriously challenge Trump, even though he will not be there? We're starting voting early in DBL. We want you to start voting now. Go to dblvote.com to weigh in as we discuss. Might I add, although Trump might not be there, he is definitely there.
He's everything.
He's omnipresent with the Republican Party.
But
Talk to me.
what do you guys think about the airing of the interview, parallel to the debate going on? Because the last time I saw this tactic, and I don't know if you remember, it's when the Michael Jackson documentary came out on HBO, I believe it was HBO, and his estate aired his, I think it was 84 concert at Wembley Stadium as counter programming. So it's the last time I've seen that tactic.
That's classic Trump, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It's an interesting tactic. I can understand why someone would utilize that tactic. But I also think that there's something tried and true about the strategy of, like, when we're in primaries and you have all of these candidates and they are tearing each other apart, bringing out their own, like, the flaws about one another, then they're already so divided and everyone is so wounded coming out of that, that if you're not a part of that fray, you can come in and literally, like, pick people off one by one because they've already been so wounded by their other opponents. So if I were in that situation, I would allow everyone to battle it out amongst themselves, highlight where their weaknesses are, and then come out unscathed on the other end, not try to do it all at the same time because they're kind of doing your work for you.
I agree. I think it's a strong strategy to wait it out. I think let them fight it out. I do want to give you, speaking of those 8, here are the GOP candidates poll from August 17th to the 23rd about who is where. As you can see, Trump is by far and away the strongest. The next up is DeSantis at 12%. Vivek Ramaswamy at 8%. And
he looks so defeated in that photo.
He always sort of does in a way. And Trump always looks like that.
Nikki Haley's making a face like he used to in driver's license photos when you couldn't take it again. You're like, I wasn't ready. Yeah, those numbers are so strangely low that it looks like we messed up with the graphic. When you go from like 50, around 50 to 12.
Right.
But Erica, you said something that made me think, okay, so if you could talk to all the candidates tonight, would you say it would be an effective strategy for them to, instead of tearing each other apart, which you said that they're probably going to do, to all come together and try and use their forces and go after Trump? Because this is their one platform to present a united front against him.
Yeah, but that
is the
would
enemy
require,
of your enemy your friend?
Yeah, the enemy of your enemy is your friend if you're not going after the same singular thing. There's no, I guess in theory, like, let's everyone build each other up.
That won't happen.
Everyone's like, what their end games are so different. You know, the ideology going into this race is so different. There's no, like, things generally work is when there is a fundamental, like, we all want this show to be successful, the 3 of us sitting on this panel.
Amen.
So we're not going to do anything to hinder one another's growth or the growth of the show because we have a singular goal. They don't have a singular fundamental goal, so that cannot happen.
Let me paint a picture of what I think is going to happen, and I agree with Erica. I think you are correct in the way it should be done. If they all got together and went off at Trump, there might be something there. They won't. Here's what I think you're going to hear. 7 people, wah, 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 wah. And I'm not saying that. I'd say that about Democrats, too. Fighting within each other. But when it comes to Trump, they all bow down, bow down.
Not Christie.
There's one man that I think will stick out tonight.
Who?
Keep your eye on Christie. Do I think he's going to win? No. Do I think he will make his moment in debates for future whatever? Yes. He is the only one whose entire campaign is to actually fight the bully. And I think that is a strong strategy.
But Tori, we got to remember why he's the only one who's strong enough to fight the bully. Because he ain't got nothing to lose.
No, he has nothing. You're absolutely right.
He has nothing
He's
to
at
lose.
the bottom.
He's already embarrassed
Couldn't you
himself
say that
so
about
many
Trump his first time?
times.
Trump ran just like a...
Trump has always had something to lose because Trump allows his ego to dictate everything. There will always be something to lose because the ego guides everything.
Well,
Christie, he played himself over and over again.
He absolutely did, but I will say this about Chris Christie. He has an honesty about him, and we're talking about a party that respects the strong man. Obviously, their entire party is Donald Trump at this point. I don't think their party will respect somebody that talks around an issue like Trump when everybody in the room knows that, even if they still don't vote for him. They will at least respect him for standing
will get a bump.
that ground. It might not matter either way.
That was how many strategies you gonna have? That you are Chris Christie and anyone in that situation has to depend on the public having a very short memory.
Absolutely. And
that's what you have to depend on.
Agree.
And this weeble wobble, you know what people don't have respect for is the weeble wobble.
The flip flop.
Let's do this opportunistic because it works for me in the moment.
Right.
I was so strong when I was strongly up this person's rear.
But
give me a break.
All right, but Eric, I will say in D.C., people do have they count on short-term memory. I mean, people forget about Bridgegate. They forget about that beach picture, which will be brought up again and
Trump
again.
a Democrat at one point?
Absolutely. Yeah. He was pro-choice for a very long time. So I'm just saying people don't have that long, and if he stands up to the bully, I'm just saying expect him to go up a few points in the poll. Not that it will do anything, because no one likes Christie.
I'm saying it now, bold prediction, I think Christie will be the nominee.
I disagree. I disagree.
Who is it going to be?
It's Trump, and you are wrong. Okay,
he's got 98 open cases.
I agree with you, but I like him. But it's not going to be him. Let's take a look. Can a candidate break out and challenge Trump's lead? 69% of you say yes. 31% of you say no. Let me know on the YouTube chat, is it Chris Christie in your mind that can do that breakout tonight? Coming up on DBL, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s fringe Democratic presidential run. The new poll that reveals how many voters agree with his controversial vaccine beliefs. And our interview with entrepreneur Ty Beauchamp. We're talking all about the importance of Black Business Month. That is coming up next. Okay, so my question for you guys is, 69% of you said someone will stand out. By the way, when Trump starts addressing you, you know you're doing well. Trump just addressed Chris Christie on Truth Social, and he did a whole long thing. Guess what Chris Christie's response was? Whatever. Come to the debate or not, coward. Now you're playing Trump's game, and you're kind of doing a good job. He called him fat. Guess what he said? First, look in the mirror. Back to Trump. Second, I know what obese people feel like in this country. Brilliant pivot. Brilliant pivot. Brilliant.
It's steering into the honesty, and I'm
Totally.
not saying it will help. I'm just saying there is a chance that Trump will not be available to run, and Christie will have established himself as like, I'm the second best thing. And if you want this party to move on, I'm your only option. Who are you going to choose? DeSantis? They're not going to choose DeSantis.
No.
The people have roundly spoken they don't want DeSantis, and nobody else is polling.
Speak like a normal human being.
I'm surprised we didn't see Vivek Ramaswamy on there.
It is. He's like like 9 or something.
He was the one with the super defeated picture that I was pointing out.
Vivek Ramaswamy. I also want you guys to know when we go, I think the only candidates that have a chance is Vivek Ramaswamy says, boy from beyond. Again, in my opinion, if you're going up against the granite mountain that is orange, that is Donald Trump, I don't care about your policies, you have to go against him and fight. And all these other guys just
But they might not
kiss
have to
his
go
booty.
against him. He's turning himself into the Fulton County DA
For
tomorrow.
a trial that might be in 2026.
But it might not be. There's a big chance it won't.
Right.
Fonnie Willis doesn't appear to be playing.
But remember, even in jail, he can still run.
Yeah, but
Welcome back to DBL. On the other side of the aisle, Joe Biden isn't the only Democrat running. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is challenging him, although he is polling in a distant second. There he is. The other one was Marianne Williamson, who we will get to as well. RFK Jr. is well known for his embrace of some conspiracy theories, including some recent statements that Wi-Fi could cause cancer and leaky brain, which, again, this show wants you to know is false. He also thinks antidepressants may be possible for mass shootings, which is also unproven. And of course, his well-known support for the anti-vaccine movement. Speaking of which, check out this new poll from the Kaiser Family Foundation. It really opened my eyes. It shows how many Americans believe anti-vaccine information. 34% believe vaccines have caused thousands of sudden deaths. 24%. That's a quarter of this country believe the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines have been proven to cause autism. It is so important to me and the show to note both of these claims are false. What do we think of RFK Jr.'s campaign, and why do so many Americans embrace these, I would say, fringe conspiracy theories, but I'm not sure 25%, 35% is fringe anymore?
Because I don't think people understand what's going on in the world.
What do you mean?
It's if you think about Greek myths, they were created because people didn't understand what thunder was. So
That's
they were like,
so
"There's
true.
a dude up there." When you gut the educational system and people don't really have access to health care or doctors or physicians or people to go get credible information, they go to their uncle. Why am I feeling like this? I'll tell you why. And this is where this comes from. When you don't have a credible source for certain things, you're going to make up a reason because people don't like to feel like they're in the dark. And it is also empowering to feel like you have an answer to something. To feel like, as an American, when you don't know, if your job is going to become an app in the next 2 years, and if you're going to be able to send your kids to school, to say, I know this, I know that airplanes cause dogs to pass out or something. I mean, because the beautiful thing about conspiracies is there's always a little bit of truth to them somewhere nestled in there, and they're almost impossible to disprove because they're so nonsensical, it's hard to follow that logic. So that's why they've been around since the beginning of people.
Yeah, we kind of had this conversation on Sunday, and I was sharing with you that I have a cousin who sadly passed away very young and left very young children because she was too scared to go to the doctor when she started experiencing pain. And as a result, by the time the cancer was found, it was too late to do anything about it, and it was terminal. And yeah, and I was young, and it was a very interesting learning lesson because I couldn't quite understand if you had indicators like in your body that something was wrong, why you wouldn't go ahead and find out. And sometimes it's because it's scarier.
For sure.
And there's a distrust of medical professionals. There's a distrust, and we can use this in any arena, that is more profound than knowing the truth so that you can be more proactive about your care. In these situations, there's an added element of othering as well. When you think about people who are saying, okay, well, vaccines are causing people to become autistic, they want to make it clear that there's an autistic community and I'm not a part of that because I've made decisions for my family to protect them, as if people who have autistic people in their family haven't made those decisions. The most profound example is COVID. Like people are shouting from the rooftops, knowing that there are people like myself who had 4, 5, 6 people who passed away because they didn't have access to the vaccine, but because we didn't do that. See all these people passing away for reasons that you don't know. We know that you saw your loved one die via Zoom because of COVID, but because we didn't do the vaccine, that's why all of our people are here. It's a psychological,
it's a sociological, anthropological. I mean, this is really, I wonder what it's going to look like.
There's a reason that these have persisted for years.
Yeah, right. Interesting, fascinating. Let us know if you are a big Marianne Williamson fan or RFK Jr. fan, and if you like that they're challenging Biden. We'll be right back.
If you have a trip booked and you've seen this news, you may be thinking, do you need a travel visa to get to Europe now? We turn to these sources and verified no. The new requirements are not technically a visa, but that's how you'll hear a lot of people refer to it informally. Along with an updated passport, you'll need an ETIAS authorization to travel to Europe. So what is it? When do you need one? How much does it cost? And how do you get one?
The European countries are very, very busy with travelers, especially from the US, and they want that safety and security.
That's why they're implementing the ETIAS, the European Travel Information and Authorization System, an additional layer of border security. To be clear, you don't actually need one of these yet, but the EU announced U.S. passport holders traveling to any of these countries for any business or personal reasons will. They'll be good for 90 days and allow for travel between any of the countries in this area beginning in 2024.
We recommend you put your application in at least 30 days in advance, because it should spit it out for you in about a few minutes, 10 minutes tops, but it could take a little bit longer. So
travel agent Shay Harrington says it will require entering your ID and travel info. Then the ETIAS will be digitally connected to your passport. It will cost €7 or about $8. This part is important. Once applications are open, they will only be available via the official website and accompanying app. Don't fall for any third-party sites offering to get you through the process.
These applications are processed very quickly. Normally, you risk that by doing and using any other form of this application.
So again, you don't have to worry about these quite yet, but if you know you have travel plans anytime in the next year to any other country, the backlog of passports is still a real problem. So if you know you need a new one, that's something you can begin to tackle now. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back to DBL. It's Black Business Month, and entrepreneur Ty Beauchamp joined us earlier to share how we can all take part. Take a look.
Entrepreneur Ty Beauchamp joins us to share more about Black Business Month. Ty, welcome. It's so good to see you again.
So great to see you. Thank you so much for having me. Happy Black Entrepreneurs Month.
Yes. And I want to talk to you about that, Ty, because August is Black Business Month. Why don't you talk to the people and tell us why this is important?
Well, I mean, Black Entrepreneurs in Business Month just shows solidarity of members of the Black communities and starts conversations about why it's important to support minority-owned businesses. And the celebration also helps spread awareness about why diversity is important for Black businesses and communities, and actually not just Black businesses and communities, but everyone. And just a little bit of a fact about Black Business Month: it began in 2004 and was founded by two Black entrepreneurs, two gentlemen by the name of Frederick E. Jordan and John William Templeton.
Ooh, all right. Tell me something that actually might surprise us all about Black business in America.
Well, there are more than 3.2 million Black-owned businesses in America. And these businesses employ an estimated 1.18 8 million workers. And yet, at the same time, there are fewer than 1% of the U.S. banks are Black owned. And so, as you can imagine, and as a Black woman entrepreneur who's been an entrepreneur for 17 years, one of my businesses is fully self-funded. The other one, we've received investment from VC. But without Black-owned banks in particular, this poses a major disadvantage, especially since Black communities rely on financial institutions to help build wealth and access necessary services to support the expansion of these businesses. This also means that a lot of the Black-owned businesses that exist and banks that exist don't have the same type of resources that the larger banks have. And so, this creates, a pipeline of unfortunate discriminatory practices where banks sometimes, don't afford resources to the businesses that need them that are Black owned. And so, as you can imagine, this perpetuates a cycle of not having Black owned businesses be able to rise up and be able to perform the services that they provide, not only for Black community, but beyond. And, I like to say that we can look to the golden age of Black owned businesses, the 1900 to 1930, when, segregation actually provided resource because Black people were supporting Black owned businesses and others were supporting Black owned businesses. And that gave rise to, the creation of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street. So those are the things that we have to think about and why it's important to actually support all Black owned businesses. And we need more Black owned banks as well.
So speaking to that, what are some fun or special ways that we, all of us, can participate in Black Business Month?
I have a couple ideas, but let's start first with Black Food Fridays, right? So Black Food Fridays is an Instagram handle that was started by someone out of Truss in South Carolina. We all love food, right? Everyone loves to eat. And in the Black community especially, we love to gather around the table. And so I love the idea of this hashtag Black Food Fridays. You can search it on Instagram, you can search it on Twitter, and then go out and support these Black-owned businesses. Another thing I think is great to help educate young kids and children in the community is actually have them do a little bit of a scavenger hunt, right? To go inside certain neighborhoods and say which businesses are Black owned. And so you can learn about those businesses. So there are a myriad of ways that we can participate and support Black owned businesses.
I love that. And Ty, you are a fabulous entrepreneur, a Black business owner. Tell us about your business and how we can find out more, specifically to our viewers as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I have two businesses. The first one is Ty Life Media Morning Mindset with Ty, which is a wellness platform and community to support Black women on their health and wellness journey. We host retreats around the world. We have a retreat coming up in January. We host monthly hikes in Los Angeles and beyond. And so I want to invite everyone to come out and hike and have a wonderful experience of building community and self-love. And then I'm also the proud co-founder of Brown Girl Jane, which is a fine fragrance line. It sells at Nordstrom, Saks Fifth Avenue, Bloomingdale's, and at browngirljane.com.
Yes.
It is so good. It is so good. And so you can elevate your mood and also, smell good at the same time and attract all the love that you desire out in the streets.
And support a Black-owned business. That's incredible. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Ty, thank you for joining us. DBL Nation, keep up your morning mindset with Ty by visiting morningmindset.com. Thanks again, Ty. Congratulations, and we always appreciate having you on.
Well-deserved success.
It's always great to see you guys. Have a wonderful day.
You too. We'll be right back.
When you get a stomachache, you may reach for a bottle of ginger ale to help you feel better.
It's a common home remedy for nausea and other gastrointestinal issues.
However, some people online are wondering if their go-to cure actually works. So let's verify. Does ginger ale really help with stomach aches, as many mamas, grandmamas, aunties, and cousins claim? Our sources are a study published in Nutrients in 2020, Emma Slattery, a registered dietitian at Johns Hopkins Medicine, Dr. Matthew Goldman with the Cleveland Clinic, and 4 ginger ale brands.
This claim needs context. Here's why.
A 2020 scientific review published in Nutrients analyzed more than 100 studies on the effects of consuming ginger. It shows that ginger root can help relieve nausea. Registered dietitian Emma Slattery says eating ginger can also help you cut down on bloating and constipation because it improves the rate at which food exits the stomach and continues along the digestive process. But while ginger may be in the name of the fizzy drinks you find in stores, many brands of ginger ale don't actually contain any real ginger. Verify looked at the ingredients lists of 4 popular ginger ale brands. Seagram's says it contains ginger extract with other natural flavors, while Schweppes, Canada Dry, and Great Value Ginger Ale do not list ginger at all. Instead, only say natural flavors.
So while ginger itself might actually help relieve a stomach ache, the common ginger ales that you can buy at a supermarket don't contain enough of the ingredient to actually make a difference.
Plus, ginger ale, like most other soft drinks, often contains large amounts of sugar, which may create further issues for you and your stomach ache. Dr. Matthew Goldman with the Cleveland Clinic says even diet ginger ale can be harmful because our bodies may not digest artificial sugars as well. So, how can you use ginger when you're feeling sick? The Cleveland Clinic recommends mixing ginger root with decaf tea or warm water.
With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Many people keep bottles of water somewhere they might come in handy during an emergency, like stockpiled in a garage or a pantry.
Or maybe you're like me and just leave water bottles everywhere.
Can you drink those bottles days or even months later? Let's verify. Does bottled water that's properly stored expire? These are our sources. Bottled water that's unopened and stored properly doesn't have a shelf life, according to the Minnesota Department of Health and a letter from the New Jersey Department of Health. Foodsafety.gov says commercially bottled water can be stored indefinitely, though the taste may be impacted by improper storage conditions.
So, what is proper storage?
The International Bottled Water Association recommends storing water at room temperature or cooler, out of direct sunlight, and away from solvents and chemicals, such as gasoline, paint thinners, household cleaners, and dry cleaning chemicals. So we can verify, no. Unopened bottled water that's been properly stored does not expire. So then why do some bottles of water have expiration dates? The FDA doesn't require bottled water to have expiration dates, but the New York State Department of Health says many manufacturers opt to give their bottles 2-year expiration dates for taste reasons, not for safety. And what about those half-empty bottles of water laying around your house? Buxton, a British bottled water company, says once a bottle is open, you should finish it within 3 days to avoid any potential bacterial growth in the bottle.
With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Welcome back. If your joints are hurting you, your grocery list could be making it worse. It's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. According to experts, there are certain foods that promote inflammation in the joints. Those are processed foods with red meat or high salt content. So also avoid adding sugars like candy, soda, flavored coffee. All those can help. And finally, don't eat refined carbs like white bread, white rice, and potato chips. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers, supported by 30 years of clinical research. Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. Call 1-800-725-2612 or visit omegaxl.com for more information. Before we go, we got one more story. The spacecraft launched by India last month made history this week. It sent back these images while orbiting the moon, and today that spacecraft became the first ever to successfully land on the southern pole of the moon.
Wow.
This is big, you guys. This is only the 4th country to ever land on the moon. It is hoping to find ice water there in the southern pole, which could be a huge resource for future missions. We know, unfortunately, Russia's spacecraft crashed into the moon earlier this week, So big news for India. Mazel tov.
Yes, that was big. And I just thought about all those people standing up to celebrate. Think about all the hours that they put together to work on that, and they did it. So congrats to them.
Congrats to them, absolutely. DBL is new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.